Alright, I am trying to take some measurements. I just recently acquired a ridiculous 1080 Ti. Only problem is, it's Kingpin. It's the Hydro version, so it comes with a water block. Probably about the same size as my current 1080 card in here. I know it's got some additional PCB components that it has built into it. I'm not an extreme overclocker. I do like to overclock, but I try and reach longevity with my builds. I've never had a computer fail outside of external problems. Had a USB device crash my system before, completely fried my board, CPU, everything. But outside of that, I like to do a little bit of overclocking, but I run my system 24/7 unless I'm on vacation and I'm not going to be in front of my computer. Work from home, so I'm always sitting in front of my computer. I finish work and I'm up all night on the computer playing games. So I really like this tower. I like the cable management. I haven't really done a whole lot of cable management on the bottom here, just because it's out of view. Got a viewing window in here, not much. I'm not for all the RGB glowy stuff. I want it to run cool. I want it to run quiet. I want it to be efficient and powerful. I'm 32. I don't need a bunch of lights everywhere. So what I'm thinking when I get this new card in is I'm probably going to replace this closed loop, even though I do like it. It runs really well for the 1800X I have in here right now, but I'll probably replace this. I'm probably going to go EK for the whole cooling setup, but going to continue to use a 240, and then I'm going to add a 120 here. Currently this is a 240 fan, but that'll be replaced with a 120 radiator push build, so it'll be pushing air through. It's probably going to reach the limit. They're going to be touching. The fans here and the fans over here will probably come together. And really what I'm trying to decide now is, can I use some mounting brackets along this section here and fit another 240. So I know that I've been doing a lot of measurements, figuring out what style radiator, how big of a radiator, thickness of a radiator I can go with. And no, it's going to be about a foot, 12 inches, well, more like 11 and some change. But if I can fit 12 inches in here, which it definitely can, in height. I've got a Blu-ray CD DVD writer in here. I'll move that up and give myself a lot more room. There is a 200 millimeter fan that is blowing air into and through my hard drive bays. These are all SSDs except for one drive, which I'm going to be replacing anyways. So there's not a lot of heat generation coming through there. A little concerning that it is going to be a radiator that's going to be dumping hot air essentially back into the case, but that's going to be mitigated by the fact that I don't really have a lot of items in here that are going to be generating a ton of heat, at least not air. And I've got another 200 millimeter fan that's going to be sucking in fresh air and blowing it on all the hardware anyways. I feel like I might gain some degrees across the board and the RAM and my M2 drive, but it's not going to be enough to be a concern. So real question. Can I fit a 240 millimeter radiator in this section? So the brackets that I'm looking at would come off of here. So I'd mount it essentially. Let's see if it'll even mount. You know, if I have to actually, looks like it will perfectly mount onto these segments. That's just wild that it doesn't look like I'm even going to have to drill any holes. So the next concern is, do I have enough depth considering how thick this whole setup is going to be? If I go with the slimmest EK 240mm radiator, it's still just over an inch thick on the radiator alone. The bracket and the push fans that are going to be attached to those add another 2 inches. So I need, at the very least, in order to be comfortable, I'd say 4 inches, because the Kingpin 1080 actually has its power coming off the side here. So I will need enough clearance in order to make that turn. And I have about, well, let's see. So if I go from where the brackets will be, that actually gives me just about 5 inches. 4.5. 4.5 inches. Boy, I think that will work. Next problem is, where do I install the pump and the reservoir? I mean, the obvious would be to mount the reservoir or the pump down here, and then the other option is to even have a bay mounted radiator. Huh. Yeah, I think this will work. I think I can actually reuse this case that was only technically designed for a 120 and a 240, and doesn't even really say that you could run them together, but clearance is definitely there. If I maintain a radiator that is no thicker than 1.5 inches, which would be the second largest 240 that EK sells, the 38mm versus the 28, then this will work. Wonderful. I'll fill you guys in once I get further along with this.